Hi. So here's an example of a small table on a spreadsheet. I've numbered two columns to be exactly the same, so that I can show you how parts of the table are aligned. With this table, I'm going to show you why sometimes we want to stripe the table. The purpose of striping a table is to identify breaks if the columns become misaligned during sorting. When striping a table, you don't really want to have each row have a different color after the other, because that would be very dizzying to the eyes. So it's better to put the rows into like blocks of colors, such as 3 rows per color, like here. Now, when you have a table, you can unify um, all the columns by way of the auto filter. So I'm just going to activate the auto filter here, and you're going to see the arrows come up. Um, so if you activate the auto filters, like this. So now you can control the drop downs like there. Okay, and you can see the auto filter arrow stretch across the headers unbroken. It means that all of those columns under each header are now unified into a single table. Um, if a table is not unified, and we can do this by inserting a blank column here. Um, if we now activate the auto filters on one side of the table, let's say the left side here, notice that part of the table to the right of the blank column does not have the autofilters. This means that the columns in this table are not unified, because the blank column here makes Excel think that this is the edge of the table. So in essence, we now have two separate tables. This is one table over here, and this is the other. So now if we were to sort one of the columns, that would change the order of the rows. Let's say we alphabetize the city column. You will notice that the colors are broken. Since Excel thinks we have two separate tables, it will sort only one table and leave the other alone. So this is one table here, and this one is unchanged. Um, so this is a problem. As you can see, the numbers no longer line up with each other either. So as further visual evidence that the rows are no longer correctly aligned. Um, but the problem really comes in when you have a large table where some of the columns, for instance, I'm just going to undo this, where some of the columns span beyond the screen, and you might have a blank column somewhere breaking up the table. Um, or you may have a column that's hidden, like a blank column, like this blank column here may be hidden, or very slender, so that it wouldn't be obvious. So if we just pull this, see, so it's hardly, like, it's not very apparent. So it wouldn't be obvious that your table has been divided. So now you have no clear visual cue that there's a break in the table that might be confusing Excel into thinking that you are working on multiple tables. And now if you activate the auto filters, you may think that all the headers have received the auto filter arrows, but since you can't see some of them, you may not notice that some columns are not unified with the rest of the table. So, so, um, so for instance, if we cleared out the stripes, now we have no clear background, or rather, we have a clear background, and if we sorted the table, only one side is sorted. The rows are now misaligned, but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that the left side has been sorted, but the right side has not. So if the right side has been off the screen and you sorted the left, you would have no clue that there had been a mistake. And after the misalignment, you would just go on doing work on the table whose alignment has been compromised. So that's why it's sometimes a good idea to stripe your table, um, so that you can tell if there's a break in your table as you're working. This will help when you're sorting, or when you run a macro that sorts. Now notice that even if you delete the blank column here, the tables are not automatically unified when the auto filters are on only some of the columns. So if you were to try to sort the city column, even now, only part of the table would change. So you would have to reactivate the auto filters, and in this case you would turn them off and then back on, and now the table has been unified. And that is why you want to sometimes stripe your table.